The Nissan Altima is a cost-effective option in today's sedan lineup. It's also a staple on American roads in more ways than one. So how efficient is this cost-effective sedan? Today, we're going to find out. Hey everyone, this is Chris here with Daily Motor. It's been a minute, and today we have the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2024 Nissan Altima SL all-wheel drive. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at this thing. So believe it or not, I have never spent time in a Nissan Altima, and this is for one main reason. When Charlie lived here in Michigan, he refused to book us one because he dislikes them so much. So I had to wait until he moved to California to finally get my hands on one of these cars. So we'll get the raw impressions here of the Nissan Altima today, and of course we'll find out just how efficient this car is. The only things you really need to know is that we are running on 19-inch wheels because this is the SL model. I think these are 19s. Yes, they are. And this is all-wheel drive. So they make this in front-wheel drive and they make it in all-wheel drive. This SL model has the 2.5-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder. You can also get a turbo, but this is the smaller of the two engines, and it's all-wheel drive. So it's pretty much all you need to know about it. It's an Altima. Yeah, so let's hop in, get started with the test. So then, why do we run these tests? Well, the EPA's fuel economy test, which gives this Altima SL all-wheel drive 36 MPG on the highway, only averages 48 miles per hour. And we know that some people like to take their cars on actual road trips. So what we're gonna do today is go out 50 miles and back 50 miles, averaging 70 miles per hour for a more real-world figure. A couple of things worth noting for today's test. Outside temperature is 49 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to be running the climate control inside the cabin at 73 degrees auto. Tire pressures have been set to their factory door placard indicated 33 PSI cold, and we'll be using the same gas pump both times using the same 3-click filling method to get the most accurate results possible. And I cannot believe I was able to rattle all that off because it's been like 3 months since I've done a fuel economy test. So how about that, Charlie? Though we do have some fellow Altima enjoyers that look like they might be filming a TikTok at the gas pump. So I'm gonna have to investigate that, see if I can join them. There is a music video happening in front of an Altima. I cannot make this up. There is a TikTok happening in front of a black Altima. Okay, we're switching gas stations because they told me since my Altima does not have a space saver spare tire and a trash bag over the window, I'm not allowed to participate in their TikTok. So we're going to a slightly different gas station. Anyways, here we go. Let's go ahead and park and we'll get our first fill here, and then we'll get started with the test. All right, just over 10 gallons going in there for our first fill. Okay, climate control set. MPG is reset. Let's go ahead and get on the road. Get started with our test. Man, guys, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, but excited to be doing it in such an important car like the Nissan Altima. So, no drive modes here except for a sport mode for the CVT. Obviously, we're not going to be using that today, so we're just going to drive this thing in its normal Altima mode. Yeah, that's about it. Highway's about half mile down the road. Update you all once I am merging on. Now, the purpose of today's test is not to hypermile. Simply going to merge onto the highway, set the cruise control to a GPS indicated 70 miles per hour, and just drive like any other normal driver would. If I were to say an Altima driver, we'd be setting the cruise at 120, flying up the left lane with our lights off, but we're gonna kind of keep it standard today, standard Daily Motor fuel economy test, and we'll see how this Altima does. We have a few driver aids here with the Altima. We have a steering assist, which is this little steering wheel button over here to the left of the steering wheel. Turn that on. I prefer to drive with that off because Nissans are very annoying about beeping at you. And we also have radar guided cruise. You can set your distance here with this button on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. Jokes aside, trying to keep my Altima jokes to a minimum here, this is quite a comfortable highway cruiser, and people often forget that sedans are quite efficient. This is a pretty slippery car. Everything today is an SUV, so we forget that sedans are capable of getting 36 miles per gallon. And don't forget, this is an all-wheel drive car, so not necessarily set up to be the most efficient, but EPA rates it at 36, so we'll have to see. Additionally, we have these super comfortable zero-gravity seats that do a great job soaking up all the bumps, keeping my butt and back nice and cozy. And we have a Bose sound system in here too. The infotainment system seems to work pretty well. The steering wheel's nice, and I like the white face gauges too here, lit up at night. So it's looking like this will be quite a nice trip. People may be confused as to why I'm only going 72, but that's okay. We will be a civilized Altima driver today, and maybe we'll set a new trend for other Altima drivers. So I'm going to go ahead and get settled in here, and I'll catch up with you all once I am at the end of my journey. Wrapping up our trip here in the Nissan Altima, and indicated on the cluster 38.4 MPG, so just about 2.5 MPG over EPA's estimates. So pretty impressive performance as far as the cluster is concerned here on the Altima. We'll have to wait till we get to the pump to see just how well we did. But the Altima performed just as I expected in the comfort department as well. The zero gravity seats have kept any fatigue that I would have had in other cars away from me, if that makes sense. I don't know. The seats are comfy is what I'm trying to say. And the Bose sound system has plenty of power. And overall, I mean, you just have everything you need in here, and it's just an honest sedan. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna pull into the petrol station, brim the tank on the Altima, and I'll let you know how we all did once I do that. 2.821 gallons of regular fuel going in there for our final fill. That's sounding pretty promising. Let's go ahead, hop in, see how we did. Today's trip was 97.98 miles. We'll go ahead and divide that by the 2.821 gallons of regular fuel we put into this Altima. And that gives us 34.73 MPG, rounding up there to 35. So a little bit of a discrepancy there between what the car thought and what we actually got at the pump. So, I mean, you could split the difference. You could take what the car says. You could take what our math gets. But 35 indicated here with our calculations, and about 38 indicated on the cluster. So let's go ahead and take the number we received here, multiply that by 16, as that is our fuel tank capacity, and that gives us an effective highway cruising range of 550 miles. If you were to take the 38.4 indicated by the car and multiply that by 16, you'd have an effective highway cruising range of about 610 miles. So somewhere between 550 to 600 miles. Overall, though, a pretty good performance here from an all-wheel drive sedan. Honestly, anything over 30 is acceptable to me for a car in this segment. So there you go. There is your fuel economy test here on the Nissan Altima. And that will wrap it up for us today. I don't know when I'll see you guys next, but maybe we'll run another fuel economy test soon. But that'll wrap it up for us today. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. This has been Chris here with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.